Hi everybody, I'm putting on the final coat of metallic. That would be this guy here. There's 118 ounces of that and 29.5 ounces of pure white, all mixed in the same bucket. Now, what I do is I don't use a paint tray. These screens are far easier to control the amount of paint on your roller, as I will show you here. This is a 1/4 inch paint roller. You dip it all the way in till it's under paint. And you come up here and you go push down to throw the paint back into the bucket. If you pull up, you'll throw it on you. So you take it, you throw it, and you throw it, and you throw it, because this is kind of runny stuff. Then you take the edge off and this edge off, like that. Now it's ready to paint. So what I'm going to do, oh, that's still way too loaded. So there we go. Do the edges last so they're clean. Now I'm going to set the phone up here, hopefully, so you guys can watch me put this on. Okay. You see on the far left edge, it's kind of a gold color. That's the paint. That's the 18-to-1 mix. 18 parts metallic to 1 part white, which in my case was 118 ounces of metallic to 29.5 ounces of white. So what you do, you start at the top, and, well, here's what I'm doing. You overlap the previous paint put on by 1/3 to half your roller. Go all the way down, all the way up. Now, I know John showed us not to do it that way, or one of the guys in the forum did, but they also weren't painting a screen this large. The very last thing you do is you go down. Okay, last stroke, steady, smooth. I'm not hardly even pushing the roller against the paint, all the way down. And then you go the last little bit here, all the way down. Nice and steady. So basically what you're doing is you're putting the paint on and then you're rolling it out. It's pretty common, actually. All right, so load the roller up again. This bucket is a 5-gallon bucket with a 5-gallon paint grid. When I'm done with this, I can leave the paint grid inside the bucket, put the lid on it. And if I need to do a second coat tomorrow, I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to pour it back in the can. I don't have to do anything. Okay. Now, what will happen here is a lot of times this will slide instead of roll in the beginning. You know, see it's sliding. It'll start to roll. Now, this is a vertical surface, so you have to be a little careful and want to run. It's about, I'll have to check the thermometer. It's in the mid to low 60s in here. Okay, so I'm rolling it out. So this has got kind of a gold, I don't know, or silver tint to it compared to the straight white, which compared to what I had before, it was, the white was actually pretty decent. I'm not painting on the wall. I hope you can see this because I'm not going to look. This is the 5mm wood that makes up this screen. There's 3 sheets, 4 foot by 8 foot, all very carefully stapled to the wall using 18-gauge brads and an air nailer. And this is what I use. This is the corner that used to be up there that had to get trimmed off. So this is what the material looks like that we're painting over. So anyway, it's going on pretty good. I've caught some runs here at the top. The one thing you always do now, this was John's idea, where you go into paint and you pull up a 1920 by 1080 white screen and put it on here. It's all solid white. There's nothing. The only thing left is the cursor, but that's okay. But when it's dark, you take a flashlight And you check it for runs, especially at the top and at the bottom and wherever else. So I found a few runs across the top. I cleaned them up, we're good. Because you want this to go on essentially in a reasonably short period of time, so it's all the same wetness. So it'll cure without a bunch of vertical streaks in it. Since I'm painting up and down, the streaks would tend to be vertical. I know one of the AV guys showed a video of a horizontal surface and how he did it, but it was a tiny surface. So you have a lot more control over putting it on. It won't tend to run if it's vertical. Or if it's horizontal, excuse me, painting and talking at the same time. Okay, so we stroke down. Nice and gentle, don't slide the roller sideways or anything. Now I was really happy with this white paint. It took 2 coats of the flat white. It really made for a smooth, nice screen, but it would wash out. Straight behind you are the windows in the dining room that would allow light in the mornings. Not straight in, but in enough that it would wash this out in the mornings. Wash the screen out pretty good. Yeah, see, I overloaded the roller a little bit so it slides instead of rolls, but that's why this paint method. So you go over it twice, right, to get the paint all the way across the surface. Now the roller is kind of a little drier. It's not dry by a mile, but it's drier. And then roll it out. Nice and smooth. And it's looking pretty good. I can see it's drying down here because I started I started at 5:30. It's 5:52. So it'll probably be done in about half an hour. I opened the back door and the front door to ventilate it in here because it gets real hot. We are in Arizona, and it's not hot, but it can get hot if you start working. You start feeling pretty hot. So anyway, I better check and make sure I'm still in frame here and not just rambling. Of course, I'm rambling anyway. I never get in front of the camera. It's not my thing. I don't need to do that. If you're comfortable with it, more power to you. Okay, yeah, so we only got about a foot and a half left to go. And let's see, all right, let me take a look here. Okay, there, we're all the way. You can watch me finish. I know it's kind of boring, but I'm trying to document my style of applying this paint so that others will know what's possible or impossible. The only way we'll know is, you know, tomorrow when it's absolutely 100% cured, how did it come out? Now I can see it's streaking down there because it's not drying evenly, but paint, you know the old cliche about watching paint dry? Well, if you have a little perfectionist in you like I do, the paint will drive you insane if you watch it. If you watch it dry, you will go out of your mind. So you don't watch it dry, you just let it do its job. Now, the flatter the paint, in other words, the less sheen a paint has, the much more even it tends to come out. I don't know if you saw that drop fall off the roller. Now that time I may have had a dry roller because there was a big empty spot in the middle there. Okay, so I'm going to check the header up here. Make sure I got no runs. Yeah, all good, okay. One of the things that kind of bothered me about this project was when I moved into this place, it had, I'm not making this up, it had 1,000 holes. Most of them were pinholes and staple holes, and this wall was one of them. And I worked like a dog to make this wall perfect, just to staple this whole, just to, you know, attach this whole freaking thing to it. So it took a little bit of courage to do it, but you know, this is my main source of entertainment. I live way out in the sticks, and there's not much to do here. Indoors, I mean, there just isn't. So this is my main source of entertainment, especially at night. It's not like there's sidewalks here with, you know, street lights you can go walking around. When it gets dark here, it's so freaking dark, you can't see anything except the next guy's porch light, you know, some distance away. My nearest neighbor's probably, I don't know, 1,500 feet, 1,800 feet away, and he never uses his porch light. So the first guy that I can see is over a quarter mile away. So there's really nothing much to do. Okay, here we go. Last 3-4 inches. There was another drop. Okay, here we go. Last vertical stroke of this entire project. Said the amateur painter. Oops, shit. Nope. Gotta run it again. Now this blue tape that you see is the, you know, the border between the textured wall and the screen. All right, so let me check it out again. I'm gonna hang this into the bucket here. Let's see, are we still on the outer edge here? Yeah. Okay, so trust me when I tell you this, a flashlight is your friend. The brighter, the better. This is a LED flashlight, nice and bright. A cheap one will do. You don't need it very often, but man, you need it. Okay, so I'm going to scope out the whole bottom here. Even though it's not lit up, you want it as nice as you can make it, because the one thing that I can do with these 3 panels all stuck up here, this is 12 feet wide. From the other edge to this edge here, that's 12 feet. It's 8 feet high. That's a big screen. I think you can see this corner right here, right? Let's see. Yeah, just barely. This corner right here, where the light's barely on the screen, I could stretch that down this direction and make this a lot bigger screen. Anyway, this was John's idea. He did a project like this on a small scale, and I really liked the idea. Let's take a look at the drawing here. Okay, so you see how it looks like it's real dry there? It is. It's drying. And you don't want to keep going over it and over it and over it. You will go insane. But this was done, you know, over half an hour ago. So, there is enough paint. I can do another coat if I have to. Okay? Now as you go this way, it starts to get just one solid sheet of wet, which is kind of how you want to do it. So this is a very reflective surface. Let me get you back, way back here. Ooh, as he runs into the wall. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way around. Sorry for that. Holy cow. This vertical format's horrible. You don't get much in it. But anyway, there it is. That's what it looks like. You see that light hanging from the ceiling? There's supposed to be a fan there. When we were painting, I didn't want a fan in the way, so we just hung a cheap fixture there and sprayed all over it, and nobody cares. But anyway, yeah, you can see the streaks in it, right? Well, it's because it's drying. Now, I'm wondering, you see those lines about 9 inches apart? They're, this line here and that line there. I don't know, will they show up? That's probably where the roller overlapped. But you have to overlap. You can't not overlap, you have to. So anyway, it's now got its first coat, hopefully its only coat. It looks like we've got the entire screen painted. It took 30 minutes. You know, it's a big mother, so you got to do a nice even job. And we'll see how it comes out. I don't know, I'll shoot another video probably in the morning when it's dried completely overnight, because I want to see in the morning how the if the light still washes it out. I mixed it 18:1. I used all of the metallic paint. I really didn't want to in case I wanted to change the ratio, but the worst thing that could happen here is I didn't have enough paint. So I mixed the whole gallon plus 29.5 ounces of the white, and that gives me 5 quarts. So just a shade under 5 quarts. So there's enough for 2 coats pretty easily. When I'm dipping the roller into the paint, it could still be completely submerged. It doesn't have to be to fully wet it. You can rotate it and dip it back in there, but yeah, there's plenty of paint in there. So John said this paint goes on a little thin. I don't know. I think it went on just fine. From my experience, it went fine. I like it. I think it's real pretty. So I'll sit you guys down here, and you can see it's got a, that's where, you see that line? Pretty distinct line right there, right here. I stopped painting to turn on the video. So what, 60 seconds, 90 seconds? So anyway, there it is. The left side of that line is drying, the right side is still completely wet. So if I have to do another paint job on here, my inclination is to go horizontal across the already painted vertical to try and minimize all the streaking, if there is any. There usually is a little bit of streaking, but you know, it's hard to make it perfect, but I've noticed that compared to, let's see, is there any way we can do this? Yeah, I'm going to come back here to the projector. Sorry I'm not showing you much, but I'll change things around here in a second. Okay, here we go. I've moved the projector to the right, and I'll show you what my point is going to be here. Sorry, this is way too long for a freaking paint video. All right, so what you're looking at, where's my flashlight? Sorry, I gotta walk in front of the camera again. All right, so you see the blue tape line. This paint was called eggshell white. In what sheen did I pick? Eggshell white. No, eggshell was the sheen. Swiss coffee is the color. So here's our metallic. It's still soaking wet, so it's a bad comparison. There's the blue line between them, and there's the textured wall. And when I was watching movies, you know, the texture has some randomly spaced flat areas, and they would reflect light back really hard. And they would show up, you'd see on somebody's face, you see these big old white things, you know, reflecting back. Well, as soon as I put, you know, the 2 coats of flat white by itself on this 5mm wood, it just, all that went away. It was wonderful. It was real flat, clean, great picture. It's interesting standing here. You can basically see the pixels because that projector's so far away. Anyway, okay, so my guess is we're going to have some vertical stripes where the overlap is. I don't mind doing it again. It's okay with me. I think this will still be 10 times better than not having any paint and having a textured wall. I think this is going to be absolutely fantastic. All right, I'm gonna stop running my mouth. I gotta wrap up my roller, even though they told me not to, and put a lid on that can of paint. And I'll put another short video letting you know how it came out tomorrow. All right, see you, bye.